My name is Esty. I lead the GTM function for APAC, and let's get started. Our goal today is for you to leave this session with some tangible examples and real-world insights that you can take back to your business about how Notion and AI can transform your team. To achieve this, we're going to kick off with Notion's point of view on the current moment in AI transformation. Then we're going to hone in and discuss what this means for product development today. We'll walk through Notion's new developer platform for those of you that are eager to actually start building in Notion. And then finally, we have an amazing panel featuring tech leaders from Stashaway, Osum, and Animoca brands to talk about how AI is changing the way that those teams are working today. After that, we're going to have more food, different food, I believe, and the opportunity to continue networking and coffee, so please stick around afterwards. So I want to start by grounding us in this current moment that we're in and to take a second to reflect on where we are with AI transformation today. One of our grounding beliefs at Notion is that the most meaningful things were never built alone. If you think about your favorite musical album, your favorite sports team, even the invention of the computer, every meaningful thing that we've achieved as a society, as humans, we have built together. So I'm going to show you what this means to us at Notion.
The most meaningful things were never built alone. It's always groups of people building and believing until something clicks. Thinking together is innate to us. Painted cave walls, campfire stories, playing chess even though machines do it better. Togetherness gives us meaning. About a year ago, we took a hard look at where AI was headed. The future felt lonely and unsettling. Billion-dollar companies with a solo founder behind a chat window. No need for teamwork. Humans are friction. We think that gets the future wrong. Making each person 10 times faster doesn't make a company 10 times better. That's a story of efficiency and cost. AI should be a story of abundance. More minds on any problem. More opportunities. More people doing their life's work. Notion has always been a tool for people to think together. Now, we're building AI that belongs in that space. Not behind one person's screen, but inside a team's collective memory, working alongside everyone. Every team in the world deserves it, not just the Fortune 500 with dedicated AI teams. The fintech startup in New York with more ambition than people. The Australian healthcare experts giving doctors time back. The 3 founders in Lagos who don't know yet what they're about to become. The best things in humanity haven't been built yet. They will be built by us together.
Pretty good, right? I wanted to start with this video because I think it does a good job of really humanizing and grounding this moment that we're in today that can otherwise feel a little bit lonely and scary. AI has obviously skyrocketed to be a big priority across organizations. Quick show of hands, how many of you have AI at some level operational at your companies? I'm going to say everyone. And how many of you, of those that have your hands raised, feel like you're still working out the best way to actually scale AI across your teams? Same number of people. This tracks. You are not alone. AI transformation is certainly not a switch that you flip and you turn on across all of your teams. This process is actually more of a journey. And at Notion, we've come up with a simple model for tracking and measuring that journey. We call this our AI transformation model. Has anyone seen this or something like this floating around? A few of you. If you haven't, this is a great way for organizations to self-assess where they are in terms of their AI transformation. On the left, this is where many teams start. This is level 1, AI as a thought partner. You can think of this as glorified search using ChatGPT to draft messages that you then copy and paste into the tools where you're actually doing your work. Level 2, we start to see a bit more value. This is AI as an assistant. This is things like note-taking apps or using AI on some level with drafting plans, and you'll start to see a little bit of a productivity lift. At this point, people are seeing benefits, but it hasn't cascaded across the full organization. And this is where we get to the left half of the model. This model is not to scale, and there's actually a really big jump between level 2 and level 3. And this is where we see most companies kind of stall out. Level 3 is AI as a teammate. This is where AI is delivering value across an entire function, not just specific power users. So you can think of this as an agent that might run a launch intake for a full team, or maybe sits in a team Slack channel and answers all of the team's questions with its full context for anyone in there. The frontier is level 4, AI as a system. This is end-to-end orchestration of full workflows, continuously synced data, and multiple agents, and this is key, humans coordinating work and actually passing it off between each other. Only a very small number of companies are operating at level 4 today. The more common reality, which I'm sure many of you in this room can relate to, is that teams are actually facing real challenges to executing and scaling AI across their business. Less than half of teams are saying that AI projects are delivering the actual outcomes of their business that they were expecting. Notion recently surveyed 6,000 knowledge workers all around the globe. And this research highlighted that Singapore, congrats to you all, is actually a global leader for AI maturity. 21% of Singaporean respondents are saying they're at level 3 or 4. This is compared with only 12% of people that are answering that globally. The 21% is really positive and outperforming, but that still leaves us with 79% of people or teams that are still feeling like they're stuck at level 2. We're going to zoom out and look back at that global view, and you can see the research has showcased that most companies are still really early in their AI journeys. If you rate your company at level 1 to 2, you're not alone. There are actual structural barriers that are acting as a bottleneck and keeping most companies from trying to implement AI at scale in their organizations. And actually, 88% of respondents globally are saying they're at level 1 or level 2, where AI is mostly used for individual productivity, so you think of your super users, or for very early stage team workflows. A lot of teams are feeling stuck in this kind of messy middle. Leaders, such as yourselves, are being flooded with AI add-ons, workflow builders, coding agents, and they're not necessarily adding value right away. On this side, you see traditional SaaS, which is kind of bolting on AI everywhere that you can think of it, and it's kind of just adding complexity. And on the other side, you have frontier models, which obviously are extremely powerful, but still siloed. They're stuck in chats, local files, individual people's computers, and they don't actually scale, again, beyond these power users. So in light of all of this, what does good actually look like? The best teams that we've talked to in the world are using AI to move quicker with fewer handovers, more clear decision-making, and knowledge that is accessible to humans and agents. And they're doing it in Notion. In fact, many of the top AI companies run on Notion. You'll see some familiar names here like OpenAI, Cursor, and Lovable. The winning pattern that we've identified is centralizing on an AI platform where teams and agents can actually collaborate in one shared workspace. Work can stay visible and linked and reviewable. All of the agents, all of the human teammates in one system of record in Notion. We think of this as 4 layers operating together, and this is one of the most helpful visuals that I've personally seen that kind of helps me wrap my head around this. So the top one you see is the agent layer. This is where AI can actually act, and you think of these actions as answering questions, updating routing tasks, triggering tasks, or running actual recurring workflows. One layer down, we have the collaboration layer. This is the shared visibility across people and agents, which includes versioning and accountability, so outputs can actually belong to teams as opposed to just individuals. Next, we have the context layer. This is all of your company's knowledge, documents, meeting notes, wikis, all of the connected tools that you have in your ecosystem so that agents can actually have access to all of that context. And finally, you have the governance layer. This is permissioning, security, analytics, controls, so that you can actually scale AI safely at your enterprise. If you only have one layer, like the agent layer, you're going to get something impressive, but it's going to end up being a little bit shallow because it doesn't spread across your organization. When all 4 layers work together, AI stops being a tool for one person and starts delivering value across an entire organization. Now, Notion, as you know it, is where teams and humans can work together, and now where AI agents can think and work in one place. Your knowledge, your projects, and your workflows all living in one place so that AI has the context to actually take meaningful action and complete workflows end to end, not just generate text. So what does this actually look like in practical terms? I'm very excited to welcome to the stage Randy Hunt, who is Notion's head of design. Product development teams today are rethinking how they build and design in Notion, and Randy's going to share that with you firsthand. Please welcome Randy.
Great. Thank you. Hi, everyone. It's great to be back in Singapore. I know some of you, so hi again. Yeah, very excited to be here. Before we keep going, a quick show of hands. Who here is on an engineering or product or design team? Yeah, okay, great. So I'm glad you're here. I know your teams. We find that engineering, product, design teams are some of our most active users, and they are often the builders and pioneers inside organizations. So we thank you and the Notion community of builders very much. Yeah. So I want to spend a few minutes on Notion's point of view on how product development teams are working today. Things are moving really fast for product teams, and so these new capabilities and some of the new behaviors we're seeing are really unlocking even more of that potential and speed with the teams. Yeah. I want to tell you the story of a recent feature in Notion. It's called presentation mode, as we call it. And as the head of design, I'm now able to ship features to production like this one. It's kind of wild, actually. It's great to see a software product at scale be sort of in a position with the responsibilities I have and still be able to touch and affect the software directly and deliver value to customers in the form of features myself. And, this is super critical now because I feel like with the speed of change of both the tools and technology, the tacit knowledge of how things work and really building that experience yourself directly allows you to guide and enable teams better. It's very difficult to do so from a distance. So I hope that sharing this example with you helps you also kind of, you could relate to it or be inspired to get extremely close to your own products and teams and take advantage of some of the things we'll share with you in just a bit. So the context for the presentation mode, I had found myself in Notion. If you're a heavy Notion user, you'll know this feature we call toggle blocks. You just pack up some content inside a little toggle. And we would often use this to paste information if we were presenting something. You know, I'd have 3 toggles, and I'd open one up and say, here's a little bit of information. I'd open up the next one and say, here's a little bit of information. And I was just like longing for a simpler way to make a presentation appear paced out with like no more effort from myself. And so I thought, I had this picture in my mind, and so I built it. I'll tell you more about how I built it in a second. It's a really simple concept idea. You just drop these dividers in any Notion page, and now all of a sudden we're in presentation mode. Every type of content, databases, videos, any kind of media embeds. And that's available now. This is a quick little marketing video that we built around it at the time. I used Claude to plan this feature, kind kind of in between meetings on an afternoon, not to underplay the effort, although I think the effort was here, I probably spent 15 or 20 minutes kind of prompting to get the concepts of this feature out. And then one of our design engineers named Cole hopped in. He actually added an idea that made it even simpler. We sort of leveled it up. And between him and I, not as primary work whatsoever, we were able to ship this feature to production over the course of 2 or 3 weeks. All while other ongoing work is happening. We're adding this new value to customers. So what's exciting about this example is that the speed with which I can do that, and that a designer can work on features like this while other teams are working on other things in parallel. So like, as presentation mode shows, AI's made product development teams one of the fastest evolving and sort of fastest shipping parts of the company. With coding agents, it's a really exciting time to be a builder. You can prototype quicker. Naturally, we're building more in public, in part because of how we share our work in Notion. But it also means that roadmaps shift very quickly. So we're often not looking 6 months out, we're looking 3 months out or 2 months out, because there's sort of so much emergent features and emergent capability. Yeah? So the hardest part of building things used to be like the building itself, but now the constraint has moved upstream. What should we build? How do we take inputs from customers, leadership, support, sales, our community? And once that work starts, how do we coordinate, create visibility, legibility across members of the team so that context switching and communication don't slow down the speed and momentum that we've just sort of unlocked? So are we doing sort of the right thing, and are we moving in the right direction? We can certainly do it quickly. So how do product teams move past this friction? I think the goal for an AI-first team is balancing velocity with control. Lets you manage inputs, allows you to move faster, and you're still shipping the right stuff. So as Esty was describing, really Notion as this visibility and orchestration layer has allowed us to take agents and take sort of noisy inputs from lots of different sources, including ourselves. We generate noisy input ourselves, and turn that into decision-ready work. Right? So signals get ingested, deduplicated, et cetera. Then we execute in one shared workspace. Designers together, product engineering together, but also our agents. So we're able to spec, create tasks, identify owners, understand status, stay synced across external services and data sources. So all these teams are advancing towards agent orchestration with Notion as the orchestration layer. Yeah? So we recently had 2 major launches that make agent orchestration possible. Custom agents in February, and then building on that, our developer platform just last month, which Nicholas is going to tell you a lot more about in a few moments. So custom agents are AI teammates that automate recurring workflows. And what's awesome about them is they're shared across workspaces. So they can run autonomously on schedule, on triggers. They can listen in Slack. You can mention them in comments. And they allow us to focus on higher level work and higher level decisions because these other tasks are taken care of. And what's really beautiful about them is we can focus a custom agent with limited permissions, limited access, so you can be confident in the areas in which they're working. We can also open them up to be usable and visible to people across your organization. So this is really where you start to see agent-human collaboration sort of come to life. Yeah? They look more like a true teammate. So we see these kinds of workflows that everyone starts to run into early and then get value when they collaborate with custom agents. Things like Q&A agents, new employees onboarding, triaging tickets and writing reports. Custom agents can handle these out of the box with lots of workflows you might imagine. You can think about all the sort of busy work you think about yourselves doing. And as we say, Notion does the busy work so you can focus on your life's work. Yeah. Okay, so let's take a look at one AI-powered workflow in Notion featuring custom agents. I'm going to show you how engineering, product, and design teams can use Notion to take unstructured feedback and turn it into real insights that inform how the team ships. Yeah? So we have a database where we're tracking all of the product feedback from customers. It's coming in from a bunch of different sources. And we can break these down by pillar, right? To see what team owns the feature or see sources where the feedback was captured from. Yep. So we jump into a Slack channel where we do a lot of real-time collaboration. It's just one we have called product feedback. And you can see that a member of the go-to-market team sort of shares feedback from a customer in this channel. And we have our custom agent sort of comes in and listens, or is always listening, called the product feedback triager. They monitor Slack. When there's a new message, it analyzes if there's existing product feedback entry within the database I shared with you, as well as other contexts that may exist across our system of record. So that custom agent logs that feedback directly into the database for us. Turns out similar feedback already exists, so instead of creating a new entry, the agent sort of dedupes it and combines the content together. So if I open up this feedback, you can see where it's our agents added the product owners, it's added the pillar, it's added where it comes from. So we're both doing ingesting, processing, triaging, right? This is done automatically without any additional enrichment needed from our side. So we get to the place where now, let's say I'm the product owner, I see this feedback and I want to take action on it, and all I got to do is move it over to our on deck status. My next custom agent is listening and knows what to do, right? So my shipping SAM agent starts working to create a task to get this feedback action by the team, right? And while it works away, I can tag the tech lead. I can say, let's review this in our next team meeting. So we're seeing agent and human collaboration with very little effort. We've got parallel tasks happening. We can talk about it at the human level. So we can jump back to the task board and see that the new task gets added. We're going to move from the automatic creation of the task and the enrichment of the information. Tech lead manager has been added, link back to the feedback source. Everything is all in one place. It's really your system of record and your orchestration layer for all of your product development work. So we can spend less time on all that effort and more time focused on getting the work itself done. But the work isn't truly done yet. As we've just released, agent orchestration isn't only focused on custom agents. We're also able to bring our outside agents and connect and orchestrate with them as well. So we're using Claude or Codex to work side by side with our custom agents, using the same kind of underlying patterns and behaviors to do whatever work we might want to do. External agents are powerful, but three things that often hold agent work back from their full potential is that they're siloed data. Right? So information about what those agents need exists in different tools from many different sources. Those tools are disconnected, so the agents can't use them to run easily. They might have different permissions, may have different access controls across them, so when you bring that to one place, that problem goes away. And finally, there's just agent sprawl. There can be like too many agents, or you don't have visibility or legibility of all the agents your team's working across these tools. Manage them in one place like Notion, and orchestration becomes much easier. So you have visibility and understandability of what's going on. And it's kind of awesome, right? It's super fun too. Just the other week, two of our designers were collaborating with some agents to plan and create work, and they were delivering PRs. And they were separately having another chat in Slack being like, it's so fun working with these agents together, which feels silly at first until you realize that for probably 12 or 18 months, so much of our agent interaction work and so much of collaborating with Claude Code or Codex is fairly singular, right? You feel really powered, you feel really accelerated. It's like, the whole universe is at your fingertips, except it's just you and the agent. And when you start to bring in your teammates, your collaborators, your colleagues, you're accelerating the work, creating more momentum and visibility, but it's also more enjoyable. Turns out that, thinking together is quite a beautiful thing. So the developer platform that we released last month, it's designed for high quality, reviewable agent work in these workflows we already do and new workflows, sort of agent first by design. So that means that the shared context and permissions all sort of come along with you. Everything I can do, my agent I build can do. I can also constrain it to only do certain things. That makes it really powerful and trustworthy. We've also released new tools that are able to sort of focus and constrain agent interactions so that they become token efficient. Right, so it's sort of not, sort of sprawling costs, and you can have great visibility into token usage. As I mentioned, you can bring your external agents, your Claude Code, your Codex, and others into your collaboration layer. And look, I'm going to hand it over to Nicholas, growth engineer at Notion, who's going to take you through what we've recently released as a developer platform and show you how more of this applies. Yeah. So now, welcome Nicholas. Thanks, everyone.
So hi everyone, I'm Nicholas. I'm from Singapore, but I've been based in San Francisco and really excited to be back here to share with you guys about the Notion Developer Platform. So the Notion Developer Platform is a small set of tools to help you do three things. First, with the Notion Developer Platform, you can sync any data source continuously into Notion, so teams and agents work from the source of truth. You can build any tool with custom tools and automations beyond what MCP can handle for predictable execution where you need it. You can also orchestrate any agent by bringing in external agents into Notion where the work happens. Any data, any tool, any agent, no infra required. Our developer platform brings together an end-to-end toolkit to build, test, deploy, and run agent-powered workflows with high trust and high leverage. We know that not all of your data lives in Notion, and that forces teams to spend the days switching between tools to get answers and updates. We're introducing syncing to the developer platform so you can connect to any system with an API, including internal databases and services. For instance, you can sync customer data right from your Postgres database or Snowflake warehouse so your entire team and company can work with real information in your workspace. And you can connect to complex apps like ServiceNow and NetSuite because we're building OAuth, environment variables, and fine-grained sync controls from pacing, backfills, and incremental syncs right into the platform. For us, these syncs have transformed how we use Notion. For example, Salesforce, Gong, and Zendesk syncs now into our customer hubs, giving us a complete view into our customers where our reps track meetings, teams collaborate on next steps, and product can see exactly what customers are using and asking for, all within Notion. The second pillar is building tools, custom capabilities beyond what MCP covers, especially for workflows that need parallel, predictable execution. With our worker capabilities, you can write tiny TypeScript functions that let custom agents connect to anything you can access via an API. Without deploying new infrastructure, you have third-party APIs, internal APIs, databases, and more. All these services that you never had integrations for can now be built by yourself. We're working with the creators of leading coding agents like Codex, Claude, and Cursor to bring their agents into Notion. And we're also working with other partners to bring in more specialized agents like Decagon for customer support or Amplitude for product analytics. So I'm working with my team on a software development project, and we have a bunch of tasks, including this one I'm working on today. Show deleted blocks. That's the feature that we're working on today. I don't know the right answer, so in this thread, I'm going to ask my team's product manager which option is better for our users. So you tag, you collaborate, and she comes back with a reply. Turns out she doesn't know the answer either, but that's fine, because she's going to tag in an AI agent from Decagon, our customer support tool, to get us quotes from users about the problems they're experiencing. Great, so now it's clear what we need to build because we have the feedback from our customers. Meanwhile, I can also work with my team on the technical plan. So if I scroll down here, I can see an implementation plan that Claude has added to our task page, and I can leave a comment asking for input from an engineer on our team, collaborating with both agents and humans at the same time. And notice that unlike a local Markdown file, this is fully collaborative out of the box. Now that we've cleared up some of those questions, we're ready to build. I can simply ask Claude Agent to build this feature, incorporating all the context that we've built up from the problem to the implementation plan. And great, it came back with a link to a pull request. But before I take a look at the PR myself, I'm actually going to have another coding agent take a first pass at reviewing the code that was built. So I'll use a different agent here this time. I'll use Codex to do its own review of this PR. Look, it will post a few updates here, already reviewing the PR and helping us improve the work, even before I go in and look at it myself. So now, although we've worked with some pretty well-known agents, your favorite agent may not have been in the list. In fact, you might be working with some in-house agents yourself. And that's because many teams are now building with in-house agents. Companies like Ramp, Stripe, and Block have all adopted AI agents for themselves with specialized capabilities for their orgs. And just like all your other agents, it turns out to be really useful to bring all those agents into your shared workspace. So that's why we're announcing we're building an external agent API where you can implement a small API surface that wraps any agent, be it in-house or external, and then have it appear in Notion where you can chat with it, assign it tasks, and include it in all your workflows. So far, we've been working on one single task. But where this gets really powerful is when we apply this same workflow at scale to all your work in your workspace. Every product team has a whole bunch of different feedback and tasks to work on. And if you can find ways for agents to automatically take a first pass, it can free up a lot of time for focus and good and quality work. Let's see how that works in Notion by turning that process that we just did for one single task into a repeatable workflow across all the disparate tasks. So I can start with a task board. This looks like a Kanban board. And these tasks could come in from all kinds of sources, like a database sync from Zendesk coming from customer reports. And on this board, each task now automatically moves through the stages of the workflow that we did earlier. The Decagon agent gathers user voice, Claude writes the PR, Codex reviews. If you want, you can insert a human review step as well. And I would, because as an engineer, I would like to have ownership over the code I push. And as all this happens, we can monitor and keep track of the progress live. So that's agent orchestration in Notion. We're launching all these features first with your favorite coding agents. And then we'll be launching with additional partners as well with our external agent API over the coming months. So that's the power of Notion and the Notion developer platform. You can sync any data, any tool, and orchestrate all your agents in one easy and collaborative space. And it's available to you today. So you just saw how agent orchestration comes together in Notion. Custom agents, external agents, and your team working side by side in one governed system of record. Here are 3 things you can take back home today to your team. The first, map recurring workflows you could automate. The next, try setting up a custom agent for those workflows. And finally, start connecting the data sources your team cares about so your agents can do good work. And if you want help, we're here. Come chat with us after this session. And I'll hand the time back to Esti. Thank you.